Hey, what's going on guys? Phil here. So, today I wanted to do a video highlighting this Midrange Hunter deck. I'm not specifically sure who to credit with, like, the origins of this list, um, but the first time I ever heard about it was through Brian Kibler's Twitter, so I'm going to say that it's Kibler's list, but I could be a little bit off on that. Um, this is slightly modified from the list that I've found online, though. So, essentially, this list tries to dominate the early game with one drops and Crackling Razormaw. So you have Dire Mole, Springpaw, Timberwolf, Crackling Razormaw, and then you have a lot of combos within your deck with Scavenging Hyena to try and make that really big. And all of this works because you have access to Master's Call now. So in the past, Midrange Hunter would run out of gas really, really quickly because Hunter has no card draw in its entire class. Um, but with the release of Rastakhan's, we now have access to Master's Call, which in this deck, the way it's built is 3 mana draw 3 beasts. So that helps you make sure you don't run out of steam, and it also sets up for some cool combos with stuff like Dire Frenzy. So if you go like Dire Mole, Dire Frenzy, and then shuffle in a bunch of 1 mana 4/6s, yeah, 4/6s, and then you Hunter or Masters Call those into your hand, that's like a giant tempo swing because you're able to get a lot of stats on board for very, very cheap. Um, there's also a lot of combos with all the 1/1 lynxes from Halazi. You can use those with Scavenging Hyena to buff that up. You can use them in combination with Tundra Rhino and Timberwolves and Leox to get a large burst swing. And so this list has a lot more reach than you would think, because looking at it, really your only burst tools are kill commands. But with the use of Timberwolves, Unleash the Hounds, 1/1 Lynxes, stuff like that, you're able to make very large swings, especially if you get like double Timberwolf or Timberwolf Leok off your animal companions. So this list has a lot of early game pressure, a lot of like swingy burst if people don't play around stuff like Hounds, and then you have Deathstalker Rexar, which means in the late game you have game versus everything because Build a Beast is the most like the strongest hero power that's ever been created. Uh, and then cute things you can do is with Deathstalker Rexar, if you get a good Zombies, you can Dire Frenzy all of those like copies of that Zombies into your deck, Master's Call those back, and then you have a ton of really good Zombies again. So yeah, this is the list that I've been using, and we're just gonna jam some games. In my in my video about decks that I used to hit Legend, I didn't actually use this one to hit Legend, but this was the deck that I first tried once I got to Legend, and so it's definitely Legend viable, ranked viable, so I have no issues like recommending this list if you're trying to rank up. All right. So first things first, we're going against Rogue. Rogue in this metagame right now is most likely odd. Um, there are some weird like Miracle Rogue lists running around. I don't think I want double Animal Companion. I want to look for something like Dire Mole, Candleshot, Crackling Razormaw, but I'm totally fine with keeping one. Hunter's Mark's okay. Um, that can be really good if he's odd against like a Henge Clan Thug. We can use the links from the Springpaw and Hunter's Mark to effectively remove that. So this looks, I think Rogue is probably a good matchup. Rogue typically doesn't run a lot of healing, and so we're able to get all of our chip damage in and end the game with like charging beasts or some Timberwolf combos. So Rogue should be fairly good for this. Hey, look at this guy, 54 in wild. What a dude. Um, so I would normally Springpaw here over tracking because I like getting the extra board presence, but against Rogue he can just hero power it down, so I'm going to opt to tracking instead. Ooh, these are all really strong. Hmm. So I have no idea what kind of rogue he is, except that he's not odd. Timberwolf would is my first pick because it helps with lots of burst combos. Lynx is also very strong, and Savannah is really good, but I think Savannah is just gonna get sapped. So it's between Lynx and Timberwolf, and I think I'm gonna go Lynx. This one's a little questionable. Most people probably would have just jammed for that Savannah High main, but considering he's not odd rogue, I'm thinking that that Savannah is just gonna get sapped, so it's 6 mana, do nothing. Okay, so I'm just gonna coin Animal Companion here, get on board. Huffer's is the one that we didn't really want in this situation. It's really easy for him to kill, especially with something like SI7. But this sets us up for a Master Skull turn. If this somehow lives, we're in a much better position, but I don't really see it living. Yeah, Henge Clan backstab. Okay, so this turn I'm going to Master's Call. We're going to take some damage from this, and then next turn we can just Spring Paw Links it down. That seems good enough to me. I don't mind taking a little bit of damage, um, so that we can get this extra card drawn in. Cool. Shadowblade. Dread Corsair. Okay. This is interesting. Um, haven't seen this before. This Dread Corsair is really bad for us, though. So that means we have to use double Hunter's Mark to be able to kill this, and I think we have to do that, because we can't allow that Hench Clan to live for this long. So this has to be our play. That feels really bad because it means we're out of Hunter's Marks, but I guess we're okay. Shadowblade's really interesting. I haven't seen that in a list in a very long time. I don't think I've seen that in a list besides one that I made ever, actually. So, trying to be innovative. Okay. So we're just gonna flanking kill that, I think, and then play a Dire Maul. It's good enough to me. And now, at any point, we have Halazi and then play a Lynx so that we don't mill our next draw, which gives us a lot of little weenie dudes that we can kind of waste. That's what I like about Halazi. It gives you removal tools and like just random little board buffs um, that are super disposable. So like you don't have to feel bad about misusing your Lynxes that much. Okay. Ooh, prep sprint. Prep fan, okay. Just not a 4/4. Nice. Ooh, raiding party. So that probably got him South Sea Deckhand, Dread Corsair, and I think he doesn't have any weapons. I think that was his second Shadowblade. So this is 2 pirates and then a random card. So my instinct is to play Savannah, but Savannah could easily get sapped, which would be bad, but I think it has to be our play, because the rest of our plays are fairly weak. And I think if this doesn't get sapped, this is obviously the best play. So we're not going to play around it too heavily. Even though I kind of want to play around it very heavily, I don't think it's correct. Ooh, top decked Vile Spine. That's better than sap at least. He's going face. That's really aggressive. That's very aggressive. I'm kind of surprised to have seen that come out. So we're going to go for a scavenging turn here. I can kill command this, trade, and then crackling this. That seems pretty good to me. So kill command, trade, and then I could crackling either one. This would be going for some sort of defensive buff. This would be going for a more aggressive line. I kind of like going for the defensive play. Plus 3 health is what I like. Divine Shield's okay. This is better versus like chargers of some sort, or like backstab SI7 kind of stuff. And then either one is the same versus Vile Spine, so. So at this point, he needs a very strong play this turn, otherwise we just win. If he's able to remove this somehow, we still have Tundra Rhino into Beasts as a very strong counterplay, because he would have to waste removal on the Scavenging Hyena, and then we're able to play the Tundra Rhino uncontested. So that's good. Let's buff this music volume too. I feel like it's really, really low. Looks like we're gonna just get roped out though. At this point, really the only cards in his deck that can kill this are like Sap or Vilespine. So I think he's a little bit upset. This is a very weird list though. Shadowblade is interesting. Wow. Alright, so we're just gonna Crackling again and go for like Wind Fury. I'll just take extra survivability, I guess. And then since he's like apparently not here, I'm just gonna go really aggressive. I'm not sure how correct this would normally be, but it sets him to 2, so it's probably the right play anyway, because now he has to heal, otherwise he dies to the hero power. Alright, good way to end the first game. Then we'll just plink him down. Pew! Cool. So that was a pretty good representation of how the deck typically functions. It's fairly aggressive. You get some sticky minions on board, you Crackling them to keep them alive, and then you just snowball the board. We were able to show how effective the Scavenging Hyena can be in the list, so that's cool. And the only things we kind of missed out on seeing were the use of Dire Frenzy with Master's Call, and the like incredible burst you can sometimes get randomly through the use of Timberwolves and like Animal Companion Leox and stuff like that. But that's fairly straightforward, it's just something you have to look for. Typically, like, as a general rule of thumb in a game, if an opponent is at like 15 or below, I start looking for lethal. And with this deck, basically from like 25, you can look for lethal as long as you have some Timberwolves in your hand. It's just that that powerful of a burst combination. So this is not too bad. The Hunter's Mark isn't really what I'm looking for against Priest, but we have 1 into 2, and now we have a Spring Paw as well, so that makes the Hunter's Mark quite a bit better, at least. And really, we're just hard looking for Master's Call. Happy Feast of Wintervale. Happy Feast of Wintervale. Scavenging is pretty good. Or, Seven is pretty good to pick up. Scavenging here is kind of meh, but we have nothing else to play, so I'm just going to play it out. That's one thing that's kind of weird sometimes. Typically in Hunter lists, it's best to keep these around for combos, but you don't have a lot of 2-drops in this list, so I normally just play it on 2 a lot. Ooh, get rewarded with Crackling Razormaw. Do I want +1/+1 or +3? I think I want +3 to play around Duskbreaker on 4. Because Duskbreaker, if I had gone +1/+1, completely removes my entire board. But now if he Duskbreakers, this survives and gets more buffs, so that's pretty scary. And if he plays any sort of minion, we can Spring Paw Hunter's Mark. Except for this I don't care about enough, so I'm probably just going to hit here and hit face. That also will put this up to 4 attack, which means they can't get Shadow Word Pained. Most lists don't run Shadow Word Pain anymore, but off this Witch Doctor, he could potentially get it, so good to play around still. Ooh, tracking is really good. Get us some Master's Call. Ooh, okay. So I really like Halazi. Halazi's very strong with our Scavenging on board, but I kind of like Dire Frenzy, because we're going to be able to get it on a Spring Paw. So I'm going to go with Dire Frenzy, and then we're going to plan on hitting either Spring Paw or Lynx with it. So I'm going to play this out, hit here, and hit like that. And then we're either going to be able to put this on here, or play this one and then put it on there, and shuffle a bunch of 4/4s into our deck for 1 mana, which is really strong. he only has access to one coin because he hasn't played a Gilded Gargoyle. Nice, so we played around this earlier, so this worked out very well for us. We now have an 8-5 and a flanking strike off the top. That top deck's kind of insane. So he still does not have access to enough mana to go like coin, Psychic Stream. So this 8-5, unless he gets a death off of his Shadow Visions, should just end the game. Yep, that's looking like game. Yep, alright. So, hey, there's our Master's Call if we didn't just end the game on turn 5. Turn 6. But, that's a very good showcasing of how this deck can just snowball a board. Our board was pretty unassuming. We got really lucky with that Crackling Laser Maw giving us a defensive option that let us survive Duskbreaker. But, you know, that's something that you can kind of play towards. We knew being a priest, he was most likely playing Control Priest, because that's the only real priest archetype around right now. So it's very common to play around Duskbreaker in that scenario. Alright, so I'm liking the Crackling. This is most likely even Paladin, which I don't think is a very good matchup for us, but I don't have a lot of experience in it yet. We have 1-1-2, so that should buff our win percentage against it by a lot if it is even Paladin. It's not even Paladin, so that means it's OTK Paladin. OTK Paladin is typically an okay matchup because they take a lot of time, which means you can get a lot of chip damage in. But if they have like the call on 3, they get access to a lot more potential life, and so that can be difficult to deal with. This hand is actually like god tier. We have 1-2, we have Spring Paw is just a good utility card, and then we have Master's Call with Tundra Rhino on 5. So I'm going to just Crackling it. Ooh, actually? Okay. So, weird line of play, but I think I'm going to go 2 coin 1, because this sets up a very powerful Scavenger Hyena, which on 3 mana he should not be able to deal with, which means if he plays any minions, I can suicide this in and try to get this out of True Silver range for turn 4. And also this sets up to Crackling Razor Maw this. Okay, so there's the call. The call is pretty bad for us, but we're just going to... do I want to buff up this and look to trade both in, or do I want to buff up this and hope to live? I think that buffing this up to live is probably a better play. I'm going to attack first, in case we get stealth. We got stealth, because I'd rather take stealth over health, because health he can still get through with a True Silver. So this is correct. And then I'm going to play this Lynx out and just suicide it in, so that if he trades here, then that's a trade. This also buffs this up. And this sets up for a Master's Call into like another Spring Paw, which we could also just, you know, throw in. So that Lynx is questionable, but I like getting the health buff and the attack buff, so. Definitely a questionable use of resources, but we have Halazi coming up soon, which gives us like a ton more of those little disposable guys. So I don't feel too bad about potentially misusing him there. The call is like one of the best cards on his deck against our list, though, aside from board clears. Yeah, so we expected this trade. So now we have an 8-5, Hunter's Mark, okay. So we're looking for a Spring Paw off this Master's Call, and we found it. This is perfect. Because we're going to trade Spring Paw trade, and then this requires him to have like an equality clear, and also have to waste an equality clear on just a 12-7. Which, like, obviously that's very good for him to remove a 12-7, but he's using his board clear on one minion. Because this is actually direct lethal. Call Tarms into some taunty boys. He didn't get any taunts. Well played. So that's why I don't really mind playing Scavenging on too, especially if you have Spring Paws available in your hand or the Hawazi coming up. You're able to really just kind of throw those guys in for buffs, and it just gets you there, as we could tell by that match. Um, this deck is really powerful at the moment. There's basically nothing in the game that's being played that deals more than 3 damage on turn 4. So if you can buff that guy's health up to like 4 or 5, you have a lot of like wiggle room around removal. Most people are putting their removal tools to line up against the Emerald Spellstone from Spell Hunter, which is a bunch of 3/3s. So stuff like I'm gonna keep Candle Shot for sure. This is good versus Black Cat if he's odd, and I don't think I want the Hunters. So I'm going to keep this just for the matchup, because I think it's most likely Odd Mage, and this kills Black Cat, which is pretty good. Picking up Master's Call is great, because our hand was very, very below average, but I kept it. And then it turns out he wasn't even Odd Mage, so keeping this was really bad. If he's not Odd Mage, it's kind of hard to figure out what he is. Mage is not very experimental right now. He could be some sort of elemental mage, or he could just be like Big Spell Mage. Big Spell Mage is most likely a bad matchup for us, simply because they have a lot of board clears, but we can try to make something happen with like a Deathstalker Rexstar turning a bunch of Build-A-Beasts, or like Savannah Highmanes getting Dire Frenzied, stuff like that. Ooh, okay. So this was kind of dumb for him. He should have played around Flanking Strike, because that means we get to limit that to 1 card draw. I had a point I was making. Oh yeah, my hand that I kept was below average, but I thought it was going to be good for the Odd Mage matchup, and then it turns out it wasn't Odd Mage in the first place, so should have probably just mulliganed more aggressively. That's something that I'm not always the best at doing. Okay, so I'm just going to Flanking Strike this also, and play out a Dire Maul. And we're starting to get into territory where if these start to live, we can Crackling, we can Timberwolf, we can start getting some really good chip damage in. So this is definitely Big Spell Mage. Secret could be potentially scary. Okay. Ooh, I'm gonna go with the Lynx. That gives it only gives us 4, but that's not too bad. That's very good with Timberwolves and Scavenging Hyena and stuff like that. Plus, I don't mind having that be killed off by the Explosive Runes, because it's not a very valuable minion. If that would have hit something like the Crackling or the Scavenging or the Timberwolf, that would have been really bad for us, because those are much more important resources to live. So that gets rid of both Hunter's Marks and both Trackings. I didn't consider Trackings. Hounds is going to be really good in this matchup, because hopefully at some point he'll randomly get a lot of minions, so we can go Hounds, Timberwolf, Timberwolf, and get a lot of face damage in that way. So we're going to try to save the Timberwolf for the Unleash the Hounds combo. 3, 4, 5. So I'm just going to start by adapting this and going for +3 attack. We got Wind Fury. Wind Fury is okay. So, boom, boom. I can go Scavenging Kill Command if I wanted. That seems fairly weak though. I think I might just go Kill Command trade and then force him to clear this board. This also allows us to hero power to get that extra chip damage in, which, considering one of our main win conditions right now is Unleash the Hounds into Timberwolf, getting this chip damage is very important, especially because this is a class that has access to armor gain through the Arcane Artificer. Yeah, Meteor was expected. Any sort of AoE was expected there, to be honest. Ooh, Master's Call. Master's Call does not mill us, so we're gonna Master's Call. Crackling. Okay, Rhino's very good as well, because we're getting into the later turns where we can go Rhino, Lynx, 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 Timberwolf, all charge. For this turn, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm just going to play out one of these and a Spring Paw and see what he does. We're essentially setting up just for the big Tundra Rhino Timberwolf 1/1 train, but we can also fit in a Crackling Razor Maw to try to get like +3 attack, or something big on our Rhino. Ooh, that's really bad for us because he gets the extra healing too. That's really unfortunate, actually. Um, I think because of that, I want to try to limit his healing, so I want to kill this in one hit. Oh, that doesn't work because this doesn't count as him dealing damage to me. So I can go that. Let's start with Spring Paw, and I'm going to use the Crackling and see if I can get through both taunts. Yikes. I guess plus 3 health. So we'll just trade into here. He's going to heal a bit, which really is not good for us. And it feels bad to miss this hero power, but I'm going to put out a Savannah and see what he does with it. We slightly played around Meteor. This is the hardest one for him to kill, like, before Meteoring, so... Poly. Okay. That extra 6 healing is going to be a big deal, I think. That limits our... like, how effective our burst can be. Okay. I'm not particularly scared of that. Alright, Dire Mole was not a good draw. So we don't have lethal, because we'd have to go 3 here, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we're almost there. So since we're almost there, I'm going to be getting this chip damage in like that. I think I'm okay with using 1 Lynx just to try to keep these alive. So I'll trade in there, and then we'll see what happens. We're basically just hoping he doesn't have more healing, or he doesn't go with an Artificer play, because we're almost there on burst damage. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 burst. And then plus if anything lives on board, that's more. Picking up another Timberwolf or a kill command are our best draws. Is he gonna Meteor this board? Oh my god, that's very defensive. That's unfortunate for us. So we have 12 bursts currently. Picking up a Timberwolf would win us the game. Picking up a kill command is very strong. There's the Timberwolf. So we go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That should be lethal. Unless I miscounted, so hopefully I didn't miscount. Let's make sure we play out the Timberwolves, and then spam out the 1/1s. And then everything goes face. Oh my god, I miscounted by 1. Oh no. That's really, really bad for me. So, basically we just need to hope he doesn't have Artificer in hand. That's his only form of healing aside from Jaina. So, no Artificer, no Jaina. 1 time. Come on. Come on. Come on. Give it to me. He isn't hard playing, he isn't fast playing anything, so I don't think he has it. I don't like this slow roll, come on. Yeah, I wonder too, Jaina. Did you see? Okay, there we go. Just not Artificer. We can actually probably beat Jaina as well. Just not... Oh, no, we can't, because these are elementals, so these would heal him. So yeah, just don't have those 3 cards in your entire deck. Double Artificer or Jaina. I think that even if we hadn't miscounted, going off this turn was probably correct, simply because he has access to Stonehill in his deck. So if he was able to play out taunts, there was no way for us to win the game. No, Artificer! Okay, Poly is not that much. Does he have Dragon's Fury as well? Oh my god. Okay. So he's at 10 life. So, Deathstalker Rexar. Ooh, Animal Companion is pretty good. Oh my god, we rolled Hover too! We have no way to give this charge anymore, but it does, proc our kill commands. And 3 is not 4. So I'm just gonna keep the links in hand. So there's no Jaina. Oh my god. That's so bad for me. Okay. So he's at 9. But he can start healing up, which is the issue. Rexar. Okay. So 4, 5, 6. That puts him down to 3. We can put him to 2. But then he heals by 3. But that gives him, that opens up him up to kill command, so this is fine. We're going to play it out this way. And we're going to go for a charging beast. Life Drinker is kind of charge. Ooh, Life Drinker Swamp Leech is pretty good. So yeah, we're going to set him to 3. He's going to heal to 6. And then we have 3 damage. And so kill command would be lethal. Sindragosa doesn't do it, so we're... So that's 2 damage with Hounds, so that's 3, 4, 5 damage. Oh, 6 damage. Okay, we won. And we topped the kill command anyway, but we're gonna win in the cool way. So this is 3, and then this deals 3, and that's 6. 1, 2, 3. Deal 3. Nice. So, basically in this video I wanted to show how the deck can snowball, how the deck can take over the early game, and how the deck can do insane burst combos. And we've shown all 3 of those in these 3 games, or in these 4 games. So, very happy with how this deck's doing. I think I'm going to do one more game, and we're going to keep this video somewhat short, because most of my videos are quite long, because it's typically the streams testing out stuff where we aren't certain how good things are. But this deck, we're very positive, is very well suited for the metagame right now. Okay, Warrior. Warrior is pretty bad for us. We're essentially mulliganing. I'll keep Animal Companion just because I like Animal Companion in the early game. But we're looking for Rexar. Rexar and Savannahs are our most important tools. Yeah, so it's Odd Warrior. So basically we just need Rexar, and it's the only card in our deck that matters. This being Quest is worse for us, because if it was just typical Odd Warrior, then we could, like, just hold off forever and win through Zombies. He actually has a win condition, though, so that's unlucky. Who would have thought that putting a win condition in your deck was better than having a deck with no win condition? I'm gonna save the coin, because hopefully we draw into Rexar and we can get it out a turn earlier. Okay. So he's gonna be playing lots of taunts, so I don't think Hunter's ranking this one is particularly good. I'm just gonna start with the animal. Nice, that's the best one we could have gotten. I can throw this in to play around something, like a whirlwind. I'm not gonna play around a random whirlwind. Okay, so he's getting his quest up pretty quick. The thing is, if he goes for his quest reward really early, that means that he's out of armor gain, and so we can try to go for another one of the big burst combos. So that's a potential win condition for us aside from just Rexaring. But Rexar Dire Frenzy in this matchup is incredible. So I'm very much considering kill commanding this, and I think I'm going to do it, because that allows our 4-4 to live with like a lot more health. Otherwise this would be a 4-1, that's pretty easy to kill off. A 4-3 is much more difficult. Sup, Acorn Pop? I don't even remember adding you. Shield Slam? Okay. That's good for us, that's being used on not a Savannah High main and not a Zombeast. Tracking, that's perfect. We're looking for Rexar. We did not find Rexar, we're going tracking. because the only card in our deck that matters is Rexar and Dire Frenzy. Ooh, out of these, I think I want Timberwolf to go for burst combos later in the game. Pew. I'm just going to play this out, because we're most likely going to be playing a Halazi soon, so we can just kind of throw those to the wayside. And that dug us 6 cards deeper to Deathstalker, and also did not discard our Dire Frenzy, so this is kind of a fatigue matchup. Death Star Master's Call. It is, I assume. This is I like going animal. Cool, good enough for me. I could use one Timberwolf to trade in and get some chip damage in. I typically like saving this, but since I have 2, this also allows us to fit in a hero power, maximize some damage for a turn. So, against Odd Warrior, chip damage really doesn't matter, but since he's quest, he might just go hard on his quest and play that out really early, which means that the chip damage could actually come into play. Okay, so that's a really easy Hunter's Mark, Halazi turn. Yep. Hunter's Mark, Halazi. Do I want to waste coin and get another Lynx? At this point, we're not going to be using coin, so... And then play one of the ones with Rush, so that we still get all this damage in. There we go. And then, we're already playing into Brawl, so I'm just going to keep all the Lynxes, because we now have access to Tundra Rhino, tons of Lynxes, Timberwolf. Is this going to be a Reckless Flurry? Or just doing that to draw because your hand's garbage. It might just be a garbage hand. Okay, top deck Brawl. This Brawl is not very strong for him though, so I'm not too upset. Hopefully the Lynx lives somehow. Dire Mole. So, I could just go big. He did just use a Brawl. And at this point, this is not going to be used for much of anything. Because we're just going to go Deathstalker and try to go big. So I think I'm just going to go off with the big burst combo with these kind of guys. Because he just used a Brawl, so now he has to have another clear for this. And he also used the shield block, which means he would have to have shield block Reckless Flurry, because the 4 does not kill the Tundra Rhino. Ooh, we get second Brawl. That's okay. We removed that from his arsenal, so that's good. Rhino didn't live, Timberwolf didn't live, but that's okay. Give us something big. Crackling is not super big, but it's better than our entire hand. I'll keep a round of poison this guy. And then to play around Super Collider, we're going to play this here. Because Super Collider here would put it into poison, which would kill off both. Super Collider now has a chance to not kill everything. Okay, so this will get a free trade, at least. So we do get to use the poisonous effect. We're really looking for that Rexar. Master's Call would be okay, because it thins our deck. Master's Call, there we go. Thin our deck a bit. Get Savannah is pretty good too. So how do we want to trade this? I think this always happens. I like getting this high main out, so I'm going to go high main and then just double trade these. And then we're still really just looking for that Rexar. If we would have found this Rexar before the bottom 7, we would have been in a much stronger position. Dragons. That's atypical. I don't know what dragon he's running. Maybe Alexstrasza for burst. I could see that. Okay, Dire Frenzy. So, kill this off. Crackling one of these. Wind Fury, I guess. And then we're going to change you, rush you. And now if this Wind Fury guy lives, we can buff it up with Dire Frenzy. It's kind of bad because it shuffles little crappy hyenas in. But do they maintain the Wind Fury? I'm not positive if they maintain the Wind Fury or not. So if they do, that's very strong. If they don't, then it's just some 2-mana 5/5s, which obviously aren't bad, but it's not specifically what we're looking for. But hopefully this lives and we're able to Dire Frenzy it up, because that's looking really strong. Reckless Flurry. Super Glider, okay. So we don't get to test whether this keeps the Wind Fury. A little sad. Super Glider's pretty strong. We're still just looking for Rexar. Okay. Master's Call to draw the last 2 beasts. And now we have a 1 in 3 at any point to get Rexar. Dang, Rexar bottom 3 is feeling really bad. But hopefully this Highmane lives. Nope. I was going to say we could Dire Frenzy it, but that's not going to happen anymore. We can get a pretty big Hyena here, though, if we want. Deathstalker flanking. Alright. So this is the play. Slightly plays, it doesn't play around anything, actually. I should have Dire Frenzied this instead of Hero Powering. We have to put a Lynx here so that we can play around the Super Collider. So I think I should have just Dire Frenzied this and given it more survivability, because it also now dies to Reckless Flurry and Shield Slam. If I gave this plus 3 health, it's much more difficult for it to die. So that's definitely a misplay. That's looking like a Reckless Flurry from the far left, yep. Hatchling. Okay, so just please. Really? Actually, last card. Jesus. So this is like the only way we could lose this matchup, is having Deathstalker Rexar be the actual last card in our deck. So eat. The game is not over yet, but there's almost no way we can win from this position, I don't think. We'll get the chip damage in. Rexar it. And then try to get a good beast that we can also Dire Frenzy, so it has to cost 6 or less. I really like the idea of Rhino. And then 1. Damn, we didn't hit a 1. So Rhino with poison, I guess. That's really unfortunate, though. So it looks like he's going to go off with a Quest Reward and start hitting us now that we're in Fatigue. Yep. Okay. So we need to get something good. I think we're going to end up going... Well, we can start with Beast. I guess... Oh, adjacent minions could be good. Yeah. 2... Oh, and Rush with Lifesteal. Okay, so we go 3, 4, 1, and the next turn we go 1, 4. I think that's the best. This has Lifesteal Rush, yeah. So we put this here. We go 2, 2, 2. Oh, that was a misplay. I could have gotten an extra 2 damage in, so that's kind of bad. It's most likely not the end of the world, but it is a misplay. So next turn we have to Dire Frenzy something. We're taking 8, and then we're taking 2 from Fatigue. This could be a Blackwalled Pixie, which would kill us. Okay, it's not. So we need something good. None of these are good. I guess this. So we lost because he hits here and then Hero Powers us. So we essentially found the only way to lose that matchup, because Death Knight was the actual last card in our deck, and our entire game plan with... We milled 6 cards looking for the Deathstalker, and we got double Master's Call to try to draw into it. But there was essentially nothing we could do that match because of how the deck turned out. Rexstar would have given us basically the game because we would have had a ton of time to build some good beasts, Dire Frenzy them in, Masters Call them out. Um, that's really, really unfortunate that that's going to be the game that we end off on. Before we leave, though, 4-1, still not bad. We're not in the total dumpster legend, so we're not playing against meme decks yet. Um, and we went 4-1, so I don't feel bad about the deck or bad about how it performed for the video. So overall, very happy. This is the list that we were using. I will copy paste the deck code into the description box below. And yeah, remember to like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel if you liked what you saw. Make sure to use the Discord join link in the description box if you want to join the Discord. I offer free Hearthstone coaching at the moment, so you can join the community. There's a couple people that are always around. You can ask questions in the chat. You get content updates, as well as coaching opportunities. So if you're looking to get any of that, make sure to join the Discord server. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.